Today on the channel, we got a pure croc of Batman with Batman the Grim Knight, Killer Croc 2-pack, McFarlane Toys, DC Collector's Edition.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another DC McFarlane Collector's Edition unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got the Grim Knight Batman and Killer Croc. But for all your 2-pack McFarlane needs and everything else under the sun, hit up jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 15%. Yes, 15%. Got to get a deal out there at jaystoysandgames.com. And of course, going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And this was a 2-pack I was originally going to pass on. I said, do I really need this? I said, the Killer Croc is what makes this so expensive. I said, I got the Killer Croc from a couple of years ago. I feel like that one is okay. I like the Batman, and good for me, I guess. I passed on the Grim Knight Batman once upon a time. So I'm like, well, if I get it, that'll be new. But I decided at the end of the day, around a $69.99 price point, and said, you know what, I'm going to pass on this. I just not enough meat on the bone for me. But then, as usually happens with a lot of Todd McFarlane stuff, Todd, a lot of your stuff, and I see it in hand, I say, you know what, I do need this. I think I do need this. This Killer Croc looks really good. Of course, we'll compare that later on. Then you got the Grim Knight, and then I said, I could save 15% at Jay's. I'm going to pick it up, and that's exactly what I did. So we're going to dive into this one here. And this is part of the DC Collector's Edition. And off the top of my head, I cannot remember ever having DC Collector's Edition 2-packs. Why can I not think of the other ones? As it does say this is the third one released. So what were 1 and 2? I guess shout it out in the comments because my brain does not remember. But of course, we're used to this packaging design on this one. Big, heavy packaging. Of course, Killer Croc in his more familiar green, maybe depending, I guess. DC Multiverse down here looking very good. 12 and up. 17 and up. I forgot, and the reason for that is we got weapons. We got Batman with guns, so it's 17 and up on this pack right here. Very cool packaging design. Number 3, as I did say on the side, Grim Knight versus Killer Croc, the Dark Multiverse. Oh, what's darker than the multiverse? Well, the Dark Multiverse, of course. On the side, nothing too fun. On the back, some glamour shots. Nothing going on cross-sell wise or anything like that, but we're going to pull them out of the package. Whoa! Big, heavy packaging here. Some beefy boys in this package, of course. Got even a little swamp scene in the back there. Looks like Swamp Thing might be coming out of the back of there. See you later. Goodbye, like a young... Who should we go to? Who should we go? Where should we go? What team? Which area? You know, I keep going back to those Phoenix Suns. So I'm going back to the old school Phoenix Suns, not the Gorilla. We're going to Thunder Dan Marley. Good golfing buddy of you, Todd McFarlane. But Dan Marley, oh, shout out to Dan Marley, a favorite of mine. And there it is, the old Killer Croc Grim Knight in the package. Going to take this offline, get these bad boys out of the pack, and we'll be back talking all things Grim Knight and Killer Croc. All right, we got Batman, the Grim Knight, and Killer Croc out of the package. Let's check out the cards, of course. Looking extra grim, extra nighty right here. Real name Bruce Wayne. Ripped from Batman Greatest Nightmares, the Grim Knight is the world's most dangerous vigilante, unafraid to use any weapons and go to any lengths to stop those he deems worthy of death. Armed with the finest arsenal Wayne money can buy, he is now one of the deadliest Dark Knights in existence, second only to the Batman who laughs. So, kind of feels like, and I don't know the story or anything, but kind of feels like Punisher Batman. That's what it be? Maybe. But now we got Killer Croc as well. These are really nice cards as well. I love the artwork on these. Real name Waylon Jones, like another outlaw I know named Waylon. Born with a rare mutation that made his skin green and scaly and grew his body to grotesque proportions, Waylon Jones was raised by an abusive aunt and bullied relentlessly for his appearance. He briefly worked as a carnival freak under the name Killer Croc, but his misanthropy grew as he did his bestial nature, pushing him to a life of crime. As his physical condition and mental state deteriorate, Killer Croc becomes a more versatile foe, bestial foe, increasingly detached from humanity. And it just is one of those what-if stories. If What if it wasn't a mean aunt and uncle that took him in? What if it was one Charles Xavier Professor X? Where would he have been? He could have been a member of Gen 13 or something, or Generation X, or what was it? Generation X, I think is what it was. Gen 13, I think, wasn't that an Image? I believe so. Getting it confused. But of course, do got accessories, got 2 DC McFarlane stands. Guess what? Seen them before. We'll see them again. Very interesting. These are collector's edition, but it doesn't have the silver DC logo on there like the collector's editions do. What are we doing? Cheaping out some paint, Todd? Come on, what are we doing there? But let's start with Batman first. We do got the gun backpack here. A little bit disappointing, just for show, these guns right here. But it's a bunch of guns kind of recorded, taped together right here, and then they plug in like a G.I. Joe backpack style right there. Cool to look at, but it would have been nice to have some usable weapons, is what it is. But we do get a couple of usable weapons right here. Very plain Jane, and we've seen these in the past. All in black, no extra color or anything like that. He's got the machine gun. Is it an Uzi? I don't know if it's an Uzi, but it's a machine gun going on there. And then we got, what is this, a grenade launcher? Reminds me of something from G.I. Joe with Gung Ho back in the day. But at least we get some guns. That's one thing we don't really get from McFarlane Toys because of the WB nature. We understand all that. So it feels different, feels good. Feels good, let me tell you. But now we're going to dive into the Batman here. Like I said, I didn't get the original version of this Batman. I remember seeing it out there. I can tell you the head sculpt on this one looks a lot better. It's not as cakey and I don't know. This one has more personality, more pizzazz in the face for old Bruce Wayne Batman here. He's gritting it, bearing it with the teeth there. Got the teeth clamps together. He's ready to go. Got the cowl of Batman there in a grayish color. It's a grayish black color looking very nice. He's loaded for bear, though. He's got all kinds of guns on his saddles here on the side. He's got 2 right there on the side. He's got all kinds of ammunition on his belt. He's got a little vest over the top. Plenty of ammunition there. That's where that backpack plugs into as well. But he's ready to go. He's ready to fight. He's ready to mow anybody down that gets in his way. There's no doubt. Now, on the arms, you got some of those Batman forearm guards looking good. You got the gloved black hands, both gripping hands here with trigger hands as well. So he's ready to blow anybody away. No extra hands, anything like that with this Batman either. Got the Batman logo in silver against the gray bodysuit throughout on here. You got the knee pads down into the black boots. At the end of the day, it's Batman. No cape with this Batman, though. His cape is some weapons. That's what it is. Now, articulation, arms go all the way around, bicep cut, double jointed, pinned elbows, all the pins, hands back and forth, side to side, up and down, back and forth on the head, waist articulation. There's a little hula hoop in there as well. A little hard to get to with all the stuff going on. Splits, not really a lot of splits on him here. Legs barely go up. He'll kick you in the lower shin, maybe kick you in the ankle if you're not careful. Double jointed pinned knees on this one. And then you get the ankles back, forth, side to side, up and down, plus toe articulation. And we do got those god-awful balls down here. Of course, McFarlane, Todd, getting the most out of his molds. But man, this is such an eyesore. And this is one of the things. I'm more of a completist in the McFarlane in this day and age, outside of a few things. But I was very turned off from the line in an early get-go because of these stupid balls down here. We sometimes had them in the hands and the wrist as well. They're just so unsightly and so ugly. I'm so happy he got rid of those for the most part, but we're seeing them creep in a little bit here and there. Not a big fan of that. But all things considered, it's Batman, all guns blazing. Batman is what we're going to call him. And not a bad piece of business. Not the best, that's for sure, but he's not the all-star of this pack. The all-star of this pack here is Killer Croc. I love a big hairy bipedal creature. He might not be hairy, but he is definitely bipedal and he's extra scaly. How about that? But this is more akin to what I think of with Killer Croc. I always think of a green body color on him. Now, some do think of the gray color from like the Batman animated series. You like what you like, you don't what you don't. But I always liked villains like Killer Crocs of the world. You know, Jokers, Penguins, they're pretty fun, but every once in a while you want a Man-Bat, you want a Clayface, you want a Killer Croc. You want something a little bit more scary, supernatural, cryptozoological, whatever it may be. And that's what this one works for me here. And I love the head sculpt here. He's got those big chompers. You got those reptilian eyes going there. Very, very scaly. Big, giant body, a little bit skinnier, a little bit softer down into the legs, of course. But man, the scales all over really make the figure. You got one fist of fury ready to go. And then you got a claw hand with the sharp nails. Got to have something like that. I really wish the jaw opened on this one. I think that would add a lot to this figure for sure. Maybe next time. Oh, wait, there's not going to be a next time. This is the last Killer Croc. Ah, man. Hard times. What are you going to do? He does got the old-fashioned rope belt there, and I've told the story before, probably with the last time we reviewed Killer Croc. I used to have a kid in my elementary school that wore a rope belt to school every day. It's like, oh boy, he's ready to go to the old fishing hole. He was like a member of the Beverly Hillbillies. He was just, I bet he would have been barefoot if he could have been, but they didn't allow that in school back then. But I always felt bad for that kid because he used to get bullied all the time. And I remember he played the cello, and the cello was bigger than him. And I remember one time a bunch of bullies like jumped him, I guess, and they broke the cello over him. So that was a hard time. That was a hard time for him. And I remember as well, I think it was 6th grade, that kid, he rented the whole pool. The pool, like the local pool, rented it for a birthday party, and nobody showed up. Nobody showed up, myself included. I didn't go either, so I'm part of the problem, I guess. But I felt bad for that kid for sure. But a lot of it he brought on himself too, because you can be poor, you can be nerdy, but you can also take showers, and you can, comb your hair once in a while, and, not get sent home with lice and things. So I get it. Maybe your parents weren't clean, your house wasn't clean, but you can at least put a comb through that hair, can't you? Can't you? I don't know, but hard times for him. I don't know where he's at these days. The more you know, the more you know. But articulation on this, arms all the way around, no bicep cut, single jointed elbow, extremely tight and very limited in the movement on this one here. You do get the single jointed, hands back and forth, side to side, fist to cuff, no extra hands with this one either. Head side to side, back and forth, hula hoop up top, plush traditional waist. Got a little bit of that McFarlane diaper. Wait, what? Oh, Todd McFarlane, he says he's got one of these diapers on too. A plastic diaper. You wear one of those? That's a power move. That's a power move. Leg does go up. Double jointed knee, pin knees. Big old pin knees right there. No boot cup. You do get a little bit of ankles up and down. No side to side, but you do get that toe articulation for whatever reason on him here. Got those jeans here, of course. Looking very nice. No real torn and tatteredness just at the bottom, and I think it's just because he grew and it ripped. I think that's the case there, but definitely the star of this pack here, and the reason I wanted the pack the most, and I said 15% off, got me. Sucker's born every minute, so I did pick that one up. But of course, I do have the one from the past. Similar but different, we're going to call that one there, but you can see the color's different, but obviously you got to get the most out of the mold. However, some changes here and there, especially on the back. Definitely a little bit different. You got a little bit more spikes on the back of this one, different heads going on. Same hands going on. You get a few little things like some cuffs on this one around the neck and the ankles. So similar but different. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to start our Killer Croc army, and we're going to start it right here at the table today. But I do prefer this one. This one was cool, and it always goes back. We say this all the time from all these toy lines. They give you Killer Croc. They give you any character. They're not going to give you that iconic one you really wanted where you could say, I got that Killer Croc. I'm done. I don't ever have to buy another Killer Croc figure. No toy company is going to do that. They're always going to leave something aside because it's going to come back out and it's going to be better than the last one. And this Killer Croc, perfect example of that. Wouldn't be shocked to see a full-on gray one. What? Oh yeah, you said you were out of time. No more Killer Crocs. Well, we're going to hold you to that. We're going to hold you to that. We'll see what ends up happening there. But still very, very fun. And for me, and what I think of with Killer Croc, this is more akin to it. And I probably go gray second, and then this mishmash probably third is what I would say. But we'll see what happens for Killer Croc. We'll see what happens for Grim Knight in the future. I think that's all she wrote on that one there. But what's your thoughts on this pack? You going to pick it up? You going to wait for clearance? You going to pass? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, you made it this far, thumbs up the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to my other YouTube channel while you're at it. Check out YouTube channel memberships and the Patreon for tons of bonus content every single day. Plenty of stuff to do. Support the channel, of course. You can also support the brand new podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, wherever podcasts are found, as well as video cast on YouTube. Each and every single Tuesday, my wife and I breaking it all down, all kinds of different segments over there. So check out the podcast if you have not checked it out already. Appreciate the support over there. The TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. You can review... You can send me any email you may want to for whatever reason. Of course, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok. And of course, my new book available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, ECW, Original San Francisco Toy Makers. Autographed copies through me if that is your thing. Appreciate the support over there. So for the Grim Knight Batman and Killer Croc, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play? We're going to